Hello guys, welcome to this video. In this video, I just want to discuss in brief because this is not my area of expertise as well. Artificial intelligence and my some of my personal thoughts about artificial intelligence, not on some specific aspects of AI, not the technical aspects because of course I don't know anything about that. But the two questions, the two main questions, major questions I wish to address in this video are number one, will the most obvious, the most popular question among everyone these days because AI is pretty like yeah. Number one question is, will AI replace humans? And more importantly, this is the unique part. Will that be a good thing? Will a society run by AI be in some sense better than than this present human-run society? That might sound crazy to some of you, but okay, we'll get there. And the second question that we'll address in this video is, I probably made I made a short video, a YouTube short about this some time ago, a few months ago. But I'll try to elaborate on that a bit more near the end of the video. But yeah, so let's get started with the second question is, what is the worst fear I have about AI, and why? Okay. So the first question is, okay, AI, like, will AI ever replace us? The first part of the first question is, will AI ever replace us? Well, I don't know because I'm not an AI scientist. I cannot give you any technical details or any expert opinion on whether it's possible and to what degree it's like. Of course, it's possible, and it's but to what degree is it likely? I guess an AI scientist or someone who really knows this stuff will be able to give a better idea. But a lot of you can find a lot of those videos as well in today, and today most people are crazy about AI. It's a big thing today, and understandably. But yeah, if you want my personal opinion, I'd say that all depend. See, it's not like since I am into consciousness and physics, I'm trying to like always go there. But if you think about it, it all depends on the nature of consciousness. When we say, will AI ever replace us, to for that to be true, AI needs to be like us in the first place. AI needs to at least achieve the level of intelligence we have. So here we need to get a few things clear. What we mean by intelligence. Of course, AI has access to a lot more information than our human brain directly. Of course, we have to Google it. So in that sense, we have some indirect access to information as well. We can Google everything, or but AI has a direct access to all the information. Then AI can solve. The modern LLMs or the large language models, using like including ChatGPT. The most famous one is ChatGPT probably. They can also, if you type some mathematics problems or some arithmetic problems. This is, students will be able to relate. They will give you a pretty good solution, but not all. Many times there are pretty like obvious mistakes in the solutions. But yeah, I guess improvements are going on, and probably in 5 or 6 years or even before, AI will be able to take care of these mistakes as well. So AI can solve problems, and some of them are pretty advanced problems. Like, not I'm not talking about high school arithmetic or something. Okay, better than us. So in that sense, yeah, it can do a lot of things in a much more efficient way than we can. And yeah, but when we say intelligence, we also talk about emotional intelligence, and we also talk about uh, the see, emotional intelligence is not required, in my opinion. It's not required for a civilization if it was not present from the beginning. Like, suppose let's imagine an alternate world where there are no humans, and there are only AI systems from the beginning. Don't ask how they were built, because I know this is just for to give an example. So in that case, even if the AIs don't have emotional intelligence, it's okay. They can still evolve as a civilization, because from the very beginning, all of the none of the AIs have emotional intelligence. So there should be no problem from the emotion side. And they can just go on evolving technologically and make more progress. But in our I don't think you need emotion to make progress. Uh, I mean. We it might not sound true to you, because we all of much of our we humans, much of the things we do are directly or indirectly based on some kind of emotion, but that's because we have been this way from the beginning. But in this alternate scenario, which I'm asking you to imagine, where there are just AI systems from the beginning, you don't need emotions for that civilization. But since it is a human civilization, we are building AI. So and we are asking if AI can will be able to replace us. So that means AI has to overthrow us, because of course we humans have a nature. We're not going to give in without a fight. And that's true for probably any civilization. It no one if they know that will probably be overthrown, they'll not be very happy about it. They'll try to fight till the very end. So to fight emotional beings, of course you need emotion. So in that sense, if AI has to replace us in the full sense of the word replace, then I mean AI has already replaced a lot of their jobs and a lot of, but I mean when we ask will AI replace the human kind as a race, that's not what we mean. So then AI will also have to develop this emotional intelligence, and by that I mean a lot of AI, for instance, Google Gemini, you can even talk with it. Like there's this feature you can just like it's almost like having a live voice call with someone or something. And but you get that it sometimes it will give you repetitive answers, and it will never be able to appreciate a joke probably the same way a human can, and it will never be able to understand you the same way a human can. Because I mean it's of course it depending on your questions and your replies and your follow-ups, it stores all the data, and that is used in its training. Because all these large language models, they go through extensive and regular, like, ongoing training. It's kind of a rolling process. But uh, even then, so they're kind of personalized for each user, but the basic code is, I guess, the same for all the users using Gemini. But my friend is not the same as your friend. I mean, they're the entirely different person. I mean, yeah, of course, both of them are probably humans, unless you're thinking about some animal friend or something. That's also okay. But that's better, in fact, than human friends in some sense. But okay, let's keep that for another video. I'll discuss this anyway. I mean, that's one point. But the thing about but then AI should also be pretty developed there, and there I think it's pretty difficult because the way the large language models are built, you just feed them a lot of information, a lot of data, and train them based on available user questions and user reactions and all. That way you can probably build a pretty successful LLM. We already have, but if you want to build an AI that can appreciate everything and learn by itself, you don't need to. Yeah, even these LLMs kind of learn by themselves. I mean, nobody's when I say training, they're trained. It's not like somebody's consciously training them or something. But I guess then you have to follow this bottom up approach or something. I mean, there are a lot of robots which were built that way. These are not necessarily AI robots. Some of them were probably AI robots, I guess. They are like, you don't feed a lot of data initially. You just build them with some basic functionalities, but you design them, program them in that way. Don't ask me how, because I'm not a computer scientist. But you program them in such a way that they will learn from every experience themselves. You don't feed a lot of data beforehand, and so it's almost like a human baby. When he or she is born, the baby doesn't know, even just after being born, doesn't even know the language, mother tongue, or nothing about the world. It just learns everything from experience, just picks things up, and it happens. That's what we neuroscientists would call that live wiring and stuff. It's nothing is hardware in that. We learn from the beginning, kind of thing. Of course, there are some few limited genetic instincts in us. I mean, of course, like food, thirst, and all those things. But otherwise, a human baby doesn't come with a lot of kind of raw material. I mean, not, I shouldn't say raw material. That sounds kind of dark. I don't know, but it comes with it doesn't come with a lot of uh, pre given. I mean, pre provided inputs or something. I don't know if that's the best choice of words, but yeah, get the idea. Yeah. So. Mm, but yeah, for AI to be able to replace us, I mean, these are things we need to try out. But yeah, that's not what I'm trying to answer. To answer the question in short, will AI ever replace us? It's definitely possible. If especially if this consciousness, we actually the important part here is we don't know the threshold. It's possible, like when we're developing more and more complex systems, complex AI systems, maybe just after we cross a threshold of complexity, the system gets conscious. I mean, when I say gets conscious, it transcends it's able to take a huge leap and learn stuff by itself and get really conscious. I mean, really conscious means, you know what I'm talking about. So if we're talking about that kind of stuff, you know then I would say, it's really hard to predict. It's definitely possible. Yeah, I can replace it, but it's really hard to predict. That's the best I can say. And it's no I think it's no good trying to prolong it any longer. Let's move on to the next part of the question, which is, yeah, this is the interesting part. Will a AI run society be better than a human run society? See, if AI totally replaces humans and kind of changes our neural machinery or something in such a way that we can get rid of all our emotions and stuff, then in some sense I believe, my personal belief, that a society entirely controlled by AI will be in some sense be better than the human run society, provided of course the humans are controlling the AI. It's not now. It's actually a AI run society. When I say that, I mean that. Why? Because although there probably won't be emotions in that society, not the same way you understand, and probably not that warmth or bondage or whatever you want to call it. But I think AI run society will do a much better job than a human run society in terms of ensuring justice. And I don't think, of course, there won't be emotions, but is that always a bad thing? I mean, if there are no emotions, there are probably the civilization as a whole is much less likely to make wrong decisions, much less likely to get biased towards some particular person. I mean, I should say some particular AI or something, because no emotions. And uh, and the best thing about AI is that they have much less requirements than us humans. I mean, of course, they are not cheap or something, but AI doesn't need all this inconvenient food, water, and all this biological stuff to survive. It doesn't need to, you know, excrete or something, and all these biological processes that are going on, our instincts, our it could be. I'm not just talking about food or shelter. I'm talking about our other instincts as well, and these are part of our biological machinery. We cannot get rid of it. But AI just needs electricity, power, probably a lot of it. But I guess that's gonna change with time. Probably in some years we'll have AI that operate on very less power, very less electricity. So, but yeah, all AI needs is some kind of electricity, and it's all in there. It doesn't need all this inconvenient stuff that a physical body, a human does. And even and since it's if we move from the physical to the mental aspect, even then we humans, the way our minds work, the way our brains have evolved, we have a lot of mental requirements as well. We need attention from others, we need this, we need that, we feel a lot of emotions and all, we get depressed. These problems won't probably exist with AI, not the way we understand it. I mean, even if AI becomes conscious like humans, even then I imagine they would probably be not as emotional as us. And especially if they're allowed to evolve in a controlled way, at least initially. So then, in that sense, an AI society will be just about progress and justice. I mean, I need to progress, so it's just logical analysis of that and progress and justice. No place for emotions, no place for biased decisions, no place for any that may not sound, you know, pretty like sound bright to us, but on the whole, I guess in some way we could be better off in such a society. And then since AI have pretty less requirements, I guess it would also be difficult for one AI to bribe another AI, and I guess AI would also do a better job than humans to maintain a I mean to manage to maintain a decentralized to I mean to implement decentralization in their system, in their society or in their civilization. Because in case of humans, it's like, of course, due to unequal distribution of resources and due to geographical factors, cultural factors, a lot of other reasons, some humans are pretty rich, and a very less percentage of human has a huge percentage of wealth, and the other major portion of the world population, they just rely on maybe little bits which are which the wealthy people consider waste. I mean, the point I'm trying to say is that there's a huge disparity in wealth, in resources, and there's a huge disparity in huge inequality in the world, in the human run society. And this is, I think, the main cause this gives rise to corruption. Because if all the people have more or less equal resources, why would they want extra resources? But that's not the case. Some people are so rich, so they have the power to offer money to the poor people, and the poor people are they have no choice but to take money. They need money to survive. So yeah, they just take the money, and even though it's illegal, they do all this. They engage in all this corruption and fraudulent activities. And I guess that's the only reason, because of this inequality. And I guess in an AI society, since the AI need much less than us, and since it will be probably be an they need some electricity or some source of power, of course. But I guess it will probably be the same for all the AIs. And I mean, I imagine I may be wrong, of course, because I mean, it's not all speculation at this point, because we don't know what really an AI run society will look like. Especially if the AI is really intelligent, then it could evolve in an unexpected way as well. But I suppose I imagine a AI run society would be able to decentralize power better than in our case, where power is concentrated in a very few hands, which we call centralized power, and the other people are powerless, and they're forced to give into corruption and bribe. I mean, I mean, all those stuff. You know what I'm talking about? All those, yeah. So yeah, now let's move on to the second question, which is like, what's my biggest fear of AI? So short term, of course, there's this data privacy is a big issue, because although I'm not an expert on this side, but on this topic, but it's like always good to see. That's the danger of having an interconnected world. On one hand, the world, like people say, the entire world, the entire planet has become a kind of a global village. We are so interconnected. I can just call my friend in USA just with a tap of just with a click. I have a lot of international friends as well, and I chat with them on WhatsApp. Video call or on LinkedIn and stuff. It's all possible because of this. This what do they call this digital revolution and stuff, because of I mean the this the world is indeed this is like, and we it's all this data. The world runs on data now, and that's good. That's good, but there are problems because it also becomes easy to manipulate data and to see if I wanted to disappear a long time back when the world was not so interconnected, it would have been a pretty easier job. But now, and that's good in one sense because that's probably bad news for criminals, but that's good in one sense. But today, if I just want to suppose I just want to like forget about my identity of Arpan Day and I just want to disappear, my biometrics, my data, my everything is with the government of India in my Aadhaar card. I have a passport. I have all these documents. Everything is with all the governments. They have my records in the database, my address, my mobile number. I can switch up my mobile, of course, and I can even be in disguise so that nobody recognizes me. But I cannot change my all my biometrics and stuff. Today the world is so connected that you cannot disappear even if you want to. I mean, dying is something else, but otherwise you cannot disappear the from the system. And that's, I don't know that's if that's a bad thing or a good thing. You could make it as a good thing, I suppose. But the danger is elsewhere. The danger about being interconnected is that if I can just it's kind of a huge interconnected system. So if I can just attack the weakest part of the system, the entire system will get affected. Suppose there's a huge interconnected system, and if I just kind of punch the weakest part, even if it's the weakest part of the system, even just a part of this huge system, but since it's all so interconnected, due to this punch in the weakest part, the parts around it will start to vibrate, and this vibration will spread throughout the entire system. The point I'm trying to make is that there can be huge repercussions even of small actions, and there are actually, if you look at, if you think about the last few years and stuff. It's I'm not just talking about fraudulent, your bank balance, bank identity theft, or hacking of your computers, or even more than that, because the world is interconnected. So if you can just if put your finger on the weakest point, on the right point, you actually have, it's easier to affect the entire system. So it's kind of analogous to centralized. It's all like kind of, yeah, it's interconnected. But the good thing about a world that is not so interconnected, like maybe in the old days, was that even if one part of the world is very severely affected, the other part is pretty safe because it's not even connected that way. But now, a small, an issue in one part of the world is bound to affect the entire world, bound to take the entire world into that, because of course social media does its part as well. You know what I'm talking about. So, and then this entire dependence on social media, and due to the centralization of power, only a few people are controlling it. We're not even sure the information which we are reading on social media, how much of it is accurate, and all this misinformation, disinformation, and all this stuff. And especially today's youth generation's habit of making a fuss about everything, making a big issue out of every small thing, to get attention, more views, attention, and also to escape from life, I guess, I suppose. So but yeah, and then all of your, I mean, I think digital transaction is actually a very good stuff. Like for instance in India, uh, in the last few years, like today in India, even the ones at the roadside, the ones who just sell small stuff at the roadside, even they use digital transactions. They use Google Pay, and even the maybe the rich businessmen, even they use Google Pay. And that's an achievement for our country, because when you have a country of a huge population such as India, and you actually be able to implement digitalization, digital transactions in all the classes, almost all the classes, that's actually an achievement. And they're a good thing, because digital transaction, there is no impact of the middleman. Directly the consumer can pay the mm, seller. There is no need of middleman, so the chances of the seller or the consumer getting exploited are less. There are standard rates, and there's a record of every transaction. So this also reduces the chances of black money and stuff like that, I suppose, because there are a record of every transaction on the digital platform. And yeah, and if there is a transaction of an unusually huge amount in your bank account, then the system can, just keep an eye on your account, like if is it all legal money or is something fishy going on. So those are all good things, but I guess then it's also easy for, I mean, not just about transaction, but since all of your information is in your device, in your account, it's also easy to, I guess, I suppose, uh, hack you. I mean, when I say hack you, it's easy to, uh, I mean, as a system, the human race is more vulnerable to threats. That's what I mean to say. That's the problem of when you have any huge interconnected. But I guess I would still say it's this digital interconnectedness, or let's say digitalization. I would say it's a boon in disguise. It has done more. I mean, more good than harm, probably, because I mean it definitely has made life easier. But if this revolution did not come, it's not like we would go extinct. We could have continued with our old ways. So I don't think there's any point arguing whether it's for the better or for the worse. I mean, of course, we can take necessary steps. We can be data literate, and we can all learn about the basic data literacy, and we can take some necessary steps which even we can do at individual level to try to protect our data, like not save your passwords in your in somewhere in your Google or something, or not, and then always being careful about sharing OTPs. I mean, those are the basic steps. More or less, everyone knows this. But yeah, in some portions of the world, especially the underdeveloped areas, rural areas, people don't even know this, and those people are the worst targets. They are exploited this way. So that's why I'm saying. I mean, and not just this, is it's always good to know about the laws, digital laws of copyright laws, and be safe digital. These things we can do. So yeah. I don't know it's for the better. If the digitalization is for the better or for the worse, but we can definitely make it for the better. That's the point I'm trying to make. But so that's one. But yeah, AI has made it more worrisome, the situation, in the sense that, for instance, deepfakes. Using AI, we can create deepfakes. We can create identity thefts and stuff has become more easier. We can even spread misinformation, and I mean, since AI is such a powerful tool, and there is a danger with any kind of powerful tool, they can be misused, they can be misused, they can be abused. So that's one thing. But when I say what's the most, what most worries me about AI, this is the short-term data privacy and all, and also about, mm, you know, I'm not really worried about unemployment on the long term, because yeah, even during the industrial revolution, when there was unemployment initially, because see, whenever the civilization is going through a phase of transition, there will be changes, and short term there will be sufferings, there will be unemployment. Like when we replaced labor work with machine, a lot of laborers went unemployed, like they lost their jobs. But would you say on the whole that the industrial revolution was bad? I mean, of course not. And even today, there are a lot of unemployment in the world, but that is not because of the industrial revolution, of course. So I don't think the unemployment due to AI will be a long term issue. It will also probably create new employment opportunities as well. It's just a change, and yeah, going through change, that transformative period is difficult, of course, but that's inevitable. So let's not complain about that. But what I'm concerned is that even more than the unemployment and that this kind of thing, is that since AI is a powerful tool, AI might accelerate the development of AI and all this, ML, machine learning algorithms and stuff. It might accelerate the development of super intelligence. I mean, artificial consciousness. I mean, it's not just AI, it's AC. I mean, it's actually consciousness the same way, as the human consciousness are. And if we, I mean, if in that case, then probably that will maybe bring us somewhere closer to, maybe bring us to digital immortality. I mean, if we start using AI and ML, if we find a shortcut, and I mean, if we manage to figure out how exactly this our consciousness operates, then we will also manage to figure out how to probably, let's say what I have in mind, maybe upload this consciousness somewhere else, and maybe download it again in some digital body, some metal body, which can move around and probably feel a lot like a human body, but without all this. I mean, it will be kind of everlasting. It will not be subject to the biological degeneration and death. So that, I mean, the point I'm trying to make is that AI might make achieving immortality, true immortality, easier. And this really freaks me out. I mean, of course, this is not short term, but the AI could accelerate this long term, and this is really worrisome, because uh, see death no matter, I mean, death is not a, death doesn't sound like a positive word, of course, and it's not positive, I mean, but death is probably the only thing that still manages to enforce a kind of a sense of a justice. Because why do I say this? Because death is the only thing that's common for all of us. I mean, no matter how much money you have, no matter, don't mind, I just banged my head on one of, I was just on one of those what do we call that, one of those, there's those racks, I mean those shelves from the wall. I just banged it here, so it's a bit, it's okay. No, I mean, if AI I mean if we can achieve true immortality, then see, let's just assume for a moment that we have already achieved immortality. Now how will things proceed? Death is the only thing, because every one of us will have to die, no matter, regardless of our power, our wealth, our status, uh, from the beggar to the billionaires, everyone has to die. And that's good, because in a way that's like, in a way that doesn't let things go out of hand. Because if it was like this, that beggars or the poor people have to die and the billionaires don't have to die, then the billionaires will live forever, and with so much money, so much power, they will just do whatever they want with the world. That's not good for the civilization. That's not what we want. But if we can achieve immortality, then that's precisely what's going to happen. Because suppose we achieve immortality, then this technology initially will be very costly. This, suppose maybe there will be some company which offers services like, okay, you pay us this amount and we'll make you immortal. And just after we discover how to achieve immortality, of course this service won't come cheap. So this service will initially be accessible only to the billionaires and not the beggars, and then to the millionaires probably, and then to the probably the richer guys, but maybe not millionaires. And but if the billionaires get access to this technology first before anyone else, then they will become immortal, and they're like, okay, we're immortal. And the other guys, they are still not immortal, and they're billionaires, so they're powerful, so they will do everything in their power to kill the other guys, or I mean, at least make sure that they are not immortal. Because if you're immortal, you don't want competition, you want to be, and that will give rise to a lot, that will even accelerate the inequality between the rich and the poor, between the powerful and the powerless, between the overprivileged and the underprivileged. So you can get an idea. And that's what I'm afraid of, actually. Because uh, then there will be no justice left, and there will be like no point in living. That's the worst that could happen. Because then everything will kind of like, okay, like we are lost, humanity is lost, the billionaires win, and I would hate to see that day. So that, long term, that's one thing that I'm afraid of AI. Okay, so anyway, right now I have nothing more to say right now, and it's pretty late in the night, so I'm also feeling sleepy. I guess that's all for this video, and let me just have some sleep now. And yeah, I just wanted to discuss some points about AI, and maybe not in any, maybe not in a coherent flow or something. But yeah, I hope you found the video interesting. And thanks for watching.